He promised her forever. 6 years of love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Gone in an instant. Amanda thought she knew Tyler. She thought the ring was coming. Instead, he disappeared, only to show up months later, engaged to someone else. His new bride? A stranger. His excuse? Cold. But Amanda wasn't the type to vanish quietly. On the day he said, "I do," Amanda showed up, not to win him back, but to expose the truth. What happened next would shock every guest, shatter the ceremony, and leave one person dead. Was it revenge? Was it justice? Or was it a secret too dangerous to stay buried? It was supposed to be the happiest day of Tyler's life. A perfect garden wedding, white roses, champagne, and promises of forever. But when Amanda, the woman he dumped just 3 months earlier after 6 years together, showed up uninvited, everything unraveled. She didn't come to cry or beg. She came with secrets, proof, and a plan. By the end of the day, the bride was gone, Tyler was dead, and Amanda was in handcuffs. This is a story of love, betrayal, and murder. Amanda Collins met Tyler Reeves on the first day of college. It was cliché, really. He helped her carry a box of books into her dorm, and they ended up in the same orientation group. He was charming, funny, and had the kind of smile that made you forget where you were. From day one, there was chemistry. Their connection grew fast. Within a few weeks, they were inseparable. Movie nights turned into shared classes. Study sessions turned into dates. And within 3 months, they were officially a couple. Friends describe Amanda and Tyler as the forever type. They celebrated holidays together, met each other's families, even got matching tattoos in their junior year. Just a small symbol on the inside of their wrists, a tiny compass, to represent how they were each other's true north. After graduation, Amanda received a job offer 2 states away, a marketing position she worked her whole college career for. But Tyler wasn't ready to leave home yet. He asked her to stay, to give them a real chance. And she did. She turned the job down. That was the first sacrifice. She told herself it was love, that it would pay off later. The years that followed were filled with the quiet patterns of domestic life. Amanda got a local job at a real estate agency. Tyler bounced between gigs, a barista, then a tech support rep, then eventually a steady role at a small IT firm. Amanda always picked up the slack, financially and emotionally. She was his anchor, his cheerleader, the one constant in his ever-shifting world. Holidays were spent with his family more than hers. She learned to like his mother's bland casseroles, learned to laugh at his father's awkward jokes. She attended birthday parties for nieces and nephews she barely knew, just to be part of his world. She tried to be the perfect girlfriend, always supportive, always patient, always loyal. And she waited. Every anniversary, every Valentine's Day, every time they were around married friends, Amanda hoped for a proposal, but it never came. "I'm just not ready yet," Tyler would say. "You know I love you. Marriage doesn't change that." But over time, those words stopped being reassuring. They became excuses. And Amanda started to notice the cracks. Tyler would get home later than usual. He started locking his phone. He grew impatient, distant, picking fights over little things. When Amanda brought up how she felt, he brushed her off, told her she was being too sensitive, that she was imagining things. Still, she stayed. She believed relationships took work, that their history meant something, that love wasn't supposed to be easy. Then, 6 years in, after everything they built together, Tyler ended it with a text message. "I think we've grown apart. I need time to figure things out. Please don't call." No conversation. No explanation. Just silence. Amanda was blindsided. 6 years of her life, erased in a moment. She called him. No answer. She drove to his apartment. His roommate said he was out of town figuring things out. Days turned to weeks. Tyler vanished from her life without a trace. And Amanda was left to pick up the pieces, alone, without closure. Her friends tried to comfort her, but none of them truly understood. They hadn't been through what she had. They hadn't watched someone they loved treat them like a phase that had simply expired. She spiraled, stopped eating, stopped sleeping, scrolled through old photos at night, remembering the laughter, the plans, the promises. She even found the list they'd made together on their 4th anniversary. Places we'll go before we're 40. Paris, Kyoto, Alaska. None of it made sense anymore. But even through all the pain, Amanda held on to one belief. Tyler had been confused. He'd come to his senses. He'd realized what he threw away. And when he did, he'd come back. What she didn't expect was for him to move on faster than she could blink. And not just move on, get engaged. To someone new. Someone Amanda had met, a co-worker, a girl he swore was just a friend. That's when everything began to shift. The heartbreak turned to rage. The love she'd buried herself in for 6 years started to rot into something else. Something darker. The end didn't come with a fight. No screaming. No tears. No final conversation. Just a message. Amanda was getting ready for work when it came through. A simple notification from Tyler. I think we've grown apart. I need time to figure things out. Please don't call. At first, she thought it was a joke. Some kind of passive-aggressive response to the minor disagreement they'd had the night before about dinner plans. But when she tried to call him, it rang twice, then went straight to voicemail. She called again. Nothing. Then she saw it. She'd been blocked. Her heart sank into her stomach. Panic set in. She rushed his apartment after work, her mind racing, praying it was some mistake. But when she got there, his roommate answered the door with a look of uncomfortable pity. "Tyler's gone," he said. Took a few bags and said he needed space. Didn't say much else. Just like that, 6 years disappeared. No final hug. No real reason. Not even eye contact. Amanda was left with nothing but silence. Over the next few days, she tried everything. Texting him from a different number, sending emails, even writing a handwritten letter. But the response was always the same. Nothing. Friends told her to let go. They said if someone could leave her like that, he didn't deserve a second thought. But what they didn't understand was everything she invested. 6 years of her life. Her youth. Her choices. The future she thought they were building. She'd given him her loyalty, her time, her heart. And now, he was treating her like a stranger. Amanda replayed their final months over and over, searching for clues. Hadn't he kissed her like everything was fine? Didn't they go out for dinner just 2 weeks before? Didn't he say, "I love you," before falling asleep? It didn't add up. None of it made sense. She started to doubt herself. Maybe she had done something wrong. Maybe she had been too clingy. Maybe he really did just need space. But deep down, a voice was growing louder, the one that remembered the late nights he didn't come home, the girl from work he used to talk about too much, the way he started locking his phone. Amanda had once ignored those signs, choosing love over suspicion. Now she was listening, and what she heard was betrayal. The hardest part wasn't the heartbreak. It was the erasure, to be dismissed so easily, like she never mattered. That was the wound that bled the longest. Amanda didn't just want answers anymore. She wanted justice. But she had no idea that the path she was about to walk wouldn't just bring her closure. It would bring blood. It was a random Tuesday afternoon when Amanda's world tilted off its axis. Again, she hadn't heard from Tyler in over 10 weeks. The silence had become a sort of background noise to her new normal. Going through the motions at work, ignoring texts from friends, and lying awake every night wondering how love could evaporate without explanation. But then, her phone buzzed. A message from her best friend, Lacey. "Tell me this isn't who I think it is." Attached was a photo. Tyler, smiling, dressed in a tuxedo, arm wrapped tightly around another woman, in a white gown. The caption read, "Can't wait to marry my best friend. Ring bouquet forever starts in 30 days. Amanda stared at the screen, breath caught in her chest. It wasn't just a random girl. It was Rachel, the girl from his office. The one he always swore was just a friend. Amanda remembered her, blonde, bubbly, overly friendly. She'd been at a few of Tyler's office parties. Amanda even remembered feeling weird about the way Rachel hugged him that one night. A little too long, a little too familiar. But Tyler had laughed it off. Told her she was being paranoid. Rachel? She's like a sister, he'd said. A sister who was now wearing a ring on her finger. Amanda felt the blood drain from her face. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through Rachel's profile. Engagement photos, wedding planning posts, a countdown. They were getting married in 3 weeks. 3 months after he left her, which meant only one thing. The relationship didn't start after Amanda. It overlapped. He had been cheating, lying, smiling in her face while building a new life with someone else behind her back. The betrayal hit her like a second breakup. Only this time it burned deeper. Amanda had spent months blaming herself, thinking maybe she hadn't been enough, that she had somehow pushed him away. But now she saw it clearly. Tyler didn't leave because he was lost. He left because he'd already moved on. And worse, he didn't even have the decency to tell her the truth. Rage began to creep in where sadness once lived. She had loved this man. She had put her entire life on pause for him, sacrificed job offers, turned down travel opportunities, swallowed her pride. For 6 years, she had given him everything, And in return, he gave his heart and a ring to someone else. That's when the thoughts began to twist inside her mind. Not just how could he, but how do I make him pay? Amanda didn't just want to be heard anymore. She wanted the whole world to know who Tyler Reeves really was. And she was willing to crash his perfect little fairy tale to make sure of it. Something snapped inside Amanda that night. The tears dried. The begging stopped. And what took its place was a cold, focused fire. Tyler wasn't just going to walk down the aisle and pretend she never existed. Not after 6 years. Not after the lies, the cheating, the betrayal. She didn't want him back. Not anymore. But she wanted him exposed. Humiliated. She wanted him to feel something. That night, Amanda poured herself a glass of wine, opened her laptop, and started planning. She found the wedding website, tylerandrachel.com, complete with a countdown clock, registry, venue details, and smiling photos of the couple pretending their love was pure. She wasn't to scream or throw a drink. No, that would be expected. Amanda wanted precision. She wanted her revenge to be unforgettable, the kind that left a mark deeper than any scar. So she started gathering evidence. Screenshots of messages, old photos, voicemails, even a dated receipt from a hotel Tyler took her to just a week before she found out about the engagement, while he was already seeing Rachel. She organized it all into a neat little folder on a flash drive, labeled "For the Bride." Next came the dress. Not something subtle, but a showstopper. Deep red silk, slit high, neckline low. Something no one would miss when she walked through that garden gate. Amanda booked a hair appointment, bought heels, and ordered a custom envelope with Rachel's name written in gold cursive. Inside it, a printed letter explaining every single lie Tyler told, every secret affair, and every detail of the 6 years he buried. For days, she rehearsed what she'd say. In front of the mirror, in the car, in her sleep. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think the bride should know what her groom was doing 3 months ago. Simple, sharp, devastating. She didn't tell anyone. Not Lacey. Not her mother. This was hers, personal. A week before the wedding, Amanda drove to the venue, a vineyard about an hour outside the city, and scoped it out. She found the back entrance, the layout where the ceremony would be. She wasn't just acting on emotion anymore. This was strategy. Then came the final piece. Amanda created a backup plan. If she couldn't make it to the ceremony, she would hand-deliver the envelope to Rachel before she walked down the aisle. One way or another, the truth was going to crash that wedding. The night before the big day, Amanda stood in front of her mirror in the red dress. Hair curled, makeup flawless, flash drive in one hand, letter in the other. She didn't feel nervous. She didn't feel guilt. She felt ready. Tyler had stolen her time, her trust, and her peace. Tomorrow, she was going to take something from him, his perfect ending. But Amanda had no idea that what she was walking into would spiral far beyond public humiliation, because someone else had their own secrets. And by the time the music stopped and the screaming began, someone wouldn't walk away alive. The wedding day arrived dressed in sunshine. The vineyard was picturesque, rows of blooming roses, white chairs lined in perfect symmetry, and the soft hum of string quartet echoing through the garden. Guests sipped champagne. Laughter floated through the air. Rachel, the bride-to-be, posed for pre-ceremony photos, a glowing image of happiness in a lace gown that shimmered with every step. Tyler? He looked calm, collected, smiling like a man whose past was buried and forgotten. But Amanda was already on her way. Dressed in crimson, she drove the winding road with her windows down, wind tangling through her hair. In her purse was the envelope. In her chest, the weight of 6 years. She parked just out of view, slipped on her heels, and walked to the back gate she had memorized a week earlier. No one stopped her. At first, no one even noticed her, until she stepped into the center of the garden. Conversations faltered, heads turned. Someone whispered her name. Then another. Tyler looked up and froze. Their eyes met for the first time in months. Amanda didn't smile. She didn't blink. She simply walked, slow and deliberate, until she stood just feet away from the altar. Rachel stepped forward, confusion and concern flickering across her face. "Can I help you?" she asked, voice polite but strained. Amanda nodded. "Yes," she said. "You deserve to know the truth before you marry a liar." She pulled the envelope from her purse and held it out toward Rachel. "Everything you need to know about Tyler is in here." The crowd gasped. A few people reached for their phones. Tyler stepped forward, voice sharp. "Amanda, stop. This is insane." But she didn't move. Insane? she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. You cheated on me for months, lied, disappeared, and now you're standing here pretending to be someone you're not. Rachel hesitated, torn between the man she loved and the woman with shaking hands and fire in her eyes. Read it, Amanda whispered. Tyler lunged forward to grab the letter, but Rachel snatched it first. She opened it slowly, scanning the contents. Her face paled. Silence felt like thunder. Tyler, is this true? She asked, barely above a whisper. Rachel, I can explain. No, Amanda cut in. Let him explain why he was sleeping with me a week before your engagement party. Murmurs rippled through the guests. Tyler looked around, panicked. Rachel's hands trembled. She stepped back. I trusted you, she said. You lied to both of us. Then came the slap, sharp, sudden, and loud. Rachel's palm across Tyler's cheek. The crowd gasped. Tyler stumbled back, humiliated. Amanda stood still, her mission complete. But the satisfaction was fleeting, because in that moment, Tyler did something no one expected. He lunged, not at Rachel, not at the guests, at Amanda, his voice twisted in rage. You ruined everything. Chaos erupted. A scream. A chair knocked over. Someone called for security. Tyler grabbed Amanda's wrist, the envelope falling to the ground. She struggled, shouted, "Let go of me!" But in the struggle, someone pushed. Someone fell. And when the dust settled, Tyler Reeves was lying on the ground, blood staining his shirt. A wine bottle shattered beside him, his eyes wide, unblinking, dead. In the minutes that followed, the wedding turned into a crime scene. Screams echoed across the vineyard as guests ran for help. Chairs toppled. Champagne spilled. The string quartet had long gone silent. Tyler Reeves lay motionless on the ground, blood blooming across his white shirt like a grotesque flower. A jagged piece of a broken wine bottle glinted beside him, the same bottle that had been on the sweetheart table moments before. Amanda stood over him, stunned. Her hands shook. Her breath came in sharp bursts. Her mind scrambled to make sense of what had just happened. Did I do this? A moment ago, they had been arguing. His grip on her wrist had tightened. They struggled. Then came the push. But Amanda hadn't pushed him. She was sure of that. And yet, no one else was standing close. Within minutes, police arrived. Guests were corralled into small groups. The bride, Rachel, was taken aside, hysterical, tears streaking her makeup as she clung to her maid of honor. Amanda was placed in the back of a squad car, not arrested but detained. We just need to talk, one officer told her. She didn't argue. She couldn't. Her thoughts were too loud, her chest too tight. At the station, detectives pieced together witness statements. Some claimed Amanda pushed him. Others said Tyler had attacked her first. But one thing was certain, someone had pushed him. The blow to his head had been fatal. He hit the wine barrel during the fall, shattering the bottle that cut his neck. It was sudden, brutal, and possibly unintentional. Amanda replayed it again and again. Tyler's rage, his lunge, the hands on her wrist, the push. But she was almost sure there was a third hand, a flash of movement from behind. Someone had intervened. But who? Then a knock came at the interview room door. A young officer entered, holding a phone. "Detective," he said, "you want to see this." Surveillance footage. From a nearby gazebo where a wedding videographer had placed a hidden stationary camera. The footage was grainy but clear enough. It showed the struggle, the chaos, Tyler grabbing Amanda, and then a figure rushing forward. Rachel, in the split second before Tyler hit the ground, her hands shoved his shoulder from the side. She had pushed him. The room went silent as the detectives watched. Amanda, now cleared of suspicion, sat in stunned silence. Rachel was arrested that evening. Her statement came with shaking hands and bloodshot eyes. "I didn't mean to kill him. I just wanted him to stop." She'd seen the look in Tyler's eyes, the way he lunged at Amanda. In that moment, rage and instinct collided. "He lied to both of us," she said. "I couldn't let him hurt her. I couldn't let him make me feel stupid one more second." The district attorney debated manslaughter, involuntary. Amanda, meanwhile, disappeared from the spotlight. No press conferences, no interviews. But in the quiet of her apartment, she watched the footage over and over, not to see Rachel, not to relive the fall, but to finally fully accept the truth. Tyler had ruined so many lives, and in the end, he paid the price. The headlines ran for days. Bride kills groom on wedding day. Love triangle ends in bloodshed. The media spun every angle, betrayal, obsession, vengeance. But to those who lived it, it was simpler than that. It was heartbreak, boiled to its rawest form. Rachel was charged with involuntary manslaughter. The court acknowledged she hadn't meant to kill Tyler, but her push, intentional or not, had ended his life. Her trial lasted 3 months. Amanda testified. So did multiple guests, the wedding videographer, and even Lacey, Amanda's best friend, who finally came forward with messages Tyler had sent during the affair. The prosecution painted Rachel as a woman scorned. The defense painted her as a woman protecting another. The jury saw her as both. Rachel was sentenced to 18 months in a minimum security facility, with the possibility of early release. Some said she got off easy. Others said she'd already served her sentence, in the form of public humiliation, shattered trust, and the death of a man she once believed was her forever. As for Amanda, she never reached out to Rachel again. Not once. She disappeared from social media, deleted her old photos, moved to a new city. People online debated whether she was a hero or the match that lit the fuse. But Amanda knew the truth. She hadn't come to the wedding to cause death. She came for closure, for justice. And in a twisted, tragic way, she got both. But closure doesn't always come clean. Sometimes it comes with blood on the floor and silence that echoes for years. She would always carry the weight of that day. The image of Tyler falling, the scream that escaped her throat before everything went dark. In her quiet moments, she often wondered, what if I hadn't gone? What if I had just let it go? But those questions have no answers, just ghosts. Tyler's family held a small memorial, closed casket, quiet. Few people attended. His mother sobbed into a handkerchief, repeating, he was better than this. Amanda didn't go. Neither did Rachel. The vineyard shut down weddings for 6 months after the incident. That patch of earth where Tyler fell was covered in gravel and replanted with lilies. New couples would come. New vows would be made. But that garden would never forget what bloomed there on a day meant for love. And so, the story of Tyler Reeves ended not with a kiss or a dance, but with a sharp gasp and a stunned silence. A bride, a scorned ex, a secret affair, and a single, irreversible moment that turned a wedding into a crime scene. Was it justice? Was it tragedy? Maybe it was both. Or maybe it was just the truth finally crashing through the lies. And no one, not the bride, not the ex, not even the groom, walked away untouched.